I know I'm going to like you, so I'm going to save you and hoard you like a little gremlin. And I'm like, hello my loves, and thank you for joining me. It's Kirsten, and today we are going over my summer TBR. So these are 10 books that I want to read during summer. Now I have to admit, I've been doing a seasonal TBR for 2 years now. I started off so well with it, so well, and the last couple seasons I have not been doing so well. Like in spring, I think I've read 4 books of that seasonal TBR, which is not bad, but also I would at least like to hit halfway. I'm hoping with this stack of books that these are books that I'm really excited to read. I really want to read during summer for a specific reason with some cases. Some of them are continuing on my series, which is a goal for me this year, is to actually tackle some of the books that I have started, like the series, because it's ridiculous the amount of series I'm in the middle of. So we've got a couple of those. You know, it's a mixture and I'm excited for all of them, so fingers crossed we actually get to all of them. But yeah, I'm not doing so well. But you'll have to let me know, do you like having a seasonal TBR? Is that something you like to do? Does your reading change with the seasons? Do you find you read more in a certain season? I find it doesn't change how much I read, but it is slowly changing what I read. It never used to. I used to be very much a fantasy girly all year round, but now I'm finding that actually that's changing quite a lot. There are certain genres that I will still read all year round, but then there are other genres that I feel more compelled to pick up during certain seasons. I never expected of myself, but there we are. Anyway, I'm waffling on as always, so let's just get straight into these 10 books I would like to read during summer. How could I have a summer TBR and not have Midsummer Mysteries by Agatha Christie on the TBR? This is a gift from Jane, so thank you so much. I love Agatha Christie. I'm slowly making my way through her works. I really enjoy a cozy murder mystery, and something I love is these seasonal little short story collections that have been put together. Last year I read Sinister Spring and had a lot of fun with it. This time, obviously in summer, we're reading Midsummer Mysteries, and it's just so pretty. Like, it is absolutely gorgeous, and these are all short story collections that either have some sort of connection to summer. They're from Miss Marple, Hercule Poirot, Tommy and Tuppence. Like, it's great. Like, I loved Sinister Spring a lot, so I'm really looking forward to reading the summer ones during summer. This might even be something that I actually read across the summer months rather than having it in a particular monthly TBR. Just have something that I just dip in and out of. Maybe just have it by like my sofa and just be able to pick it up. Like if I've got a spare 10 minutes, I can read a short story. That's actually a good idea. I might do that. I'm really excited for it. Like, I love a short story collection. I definitely need to get back into reading more of them. I would like to do a video talking about different short story collections. I couldn't do a summer TBR and not have that on here. And speaking about summer and books that I feel like reading, as I said, I've slowly started to change where I want certain books. Something I'm really feeling this year, so last year summer was more like summer romances. I'm not a massive romance reader, but I definitely read a couple last year that I was like, yeah, this is nice for summer. This year I'm feeling summer thrillers. I really want the sticky, toxic relationships thrillers. So I've got a couple that I've pulled off. One is Fruit of the Dead by Rachel Lyon. This is a newer book that I've picked up and I'm so excited to read it. This is a Hades and Persephone retelling, but from Persephone and Demeter's perspective. So for those of you that don't know, Hades and Persephone, like the Greek mythology, it is normally romanticized a heck of a lot. However, if you actually look into it, yeah, it was not romanticized. Persephone was taken against her will and given to Hades, and Demeter was distraught, and it's why we ended up with Winter, because that was her way of going, no, I want my daughter back. It's also why we get Spring and Summer, because that's when Persephone can come from the underworld to the earth and see her mother. It's a story that has always been overly romanticized, and I'm really looking forward to this one because it's not doing that. This is done in a contemporary setting, and as much as the names don't reflect Hades, Persephone and Demeter, very much the characters are personifying them. In this one we are following a young camp counselor. She's only 18 years old, but she feels very kind of stifled by her overbearing mother, and she meets one of the camp counselor's fathers who instantly becomes enamored with her. He is a CEO of this pharmaceutical company. He becomes obsessed with her and says, hey, come with me to my island, but you can't tell anyone where you're going and you have to sign this NDA. And she reluctantly agrees. Like, she knows that this is not good, she knows that this is not right, but she wants to do something and be herself, and so she agrees. And Demeter, the person that is personifying Demeter in this, realizes something terrible has gone on, nobody will believe her, and so she sets out to find her daughter, and you're seeing both perspectives. I'm really looking forward to this. I'm really looking forward to the toxic relationship because it's a massive age gap dynamic. Everything about this, it just sounds really fun, and I am in love with this cover, if it will focus. Like, it is gorgeous. I really, really like it. I'm really obsessed with this. I really want to read it soon. I think summer is going to be the perfect time to read this one because it does have that romance turned toxic, and I don't know, I'm just obsessed with that idea. So yeah, I really, really want to read this one soon. Hopefully in July, but yeah, definitely one that is a high priority for me for summer. I think it's going to be brilliant. I have really high hope. Looking forward to reading this one. And speaking of summer toxic love, but make it dark academia, we have Mrs. S by Kay Patrick. This is one that I picked up during the booktube meetup, the first one that I went to, and this one was recommended to me by Willow. I kept seeing it in all the shops because I love this cover. Like, it was going to end up being a cover buy, and I kept picking it up whatever shop we went into, and eventually Willow just said, it's a really good book, just read it. I was like, okay. I'm really looking forward to this one. This one, we're following a English teacher, I believe it is. Okay, so no, it's an English boarding school, and we have an Australian woman that's coming over to take up the role of matron. While she's there though, she has a difficult time with the students, and she starts getting enamored with Mrs. S, who is the headmaster's wife, and they end up in this really toxic relationship across the summer, and they've got to make decisions at the end of it. I think it's going to be quite a good one. Like, I'm looking forward to it, and I like the idea of it being in the academic setting. I don't know, this one has been one that I've been saving for summer since I picked it up. It takes place across summer. Of course I've got to read it during summer. So yeah, this is one, again, I have really high hopes for. I don't know really what to expect from it apart from that sticky heat, the toxicity of the romance, and it kind of feeling like it's all not allowed because obviously Mrs. S is already married, and yeah, I'm just intrigued to explore this and see what's going to happen. So again, this is another one that it will scratch that I want these sticky, hot, toxic relationships. So that's what these two books are doing for me. So hoping that really works, and because I'm in the mood to read those sort of books, those two are definitely going to get read. Sticking with dark academia, I actually have an ARC. This is one that I picked up in November when I went to Yalk. I won it, and this is All the Devils by Caitlin Wilson. This comes out in September, and so I really want to read this one probably around August time. This I forgot I actually had. It wasn't until my sister sent me a picture saying, oh my god, look at this book, I've pre-ordered it, it looks gorgeous, that I was like, wait a minute, I recognise that. And yes, I have the ARC copy. This one I am expecting, I think it's more young adult dark academia, but that's fine with me as well. I would like to get back into reading more dark academia, and I do find going into August, September time, I then start feeling like I want to read more of them. So hopefully that works for me. This one, we are following Andy Emerson. On the day of her sister Violet's funeral, she discovered that her sister wasn't dead and she needs to find her, and she will do anything to unlock the truth, even enrolling in Violet's elite boarding school to discover what really happened there. In the pages of this book you will find secret societies, ancient magic, demons and monsters, all leading to the truth. So I think it will just be a good time. I imagine because I've got quite an early copy there will be slight changes to when the original comes out, but this will give me a good idea to see whether I want to get the finished version or not, and be able to let you know whether I think it's worth picking up. But I mean, I have high hopes for it. I do like dark academia. I think the cover is stunning. Like, that is just amazing. I love this so much. I am expecting that darker, spooky, atmospheric time, so if it delivers on that, I think it will be fantastic. And I do think this will be a nice transitional book from summer into autumn. Then we've got a book that was recently gifted to me for my birthday, and the cover just kind of screams summer to me because look at how blue this is. It reminds me of being on the beach and having the blue ocean in front of you. Like, it just reminds me of that. So of course I have to read it in summer. I'm hopefully buddy reading this with Christina, so we'll see. It might not happen in summer if she doesn't get her copy in time, or if she ends up being really busy, because I would like to buddy read it with her. But this one is a sci-fi that is by Justin Cronin, The Ferryman. I've not read anything by Justin Cronin, but I have had a few of you comment saying that you've read The Passage and really enjoyed it, and that's the same with Christina as well. And I messaged her going, hey, have you actually read this one? And she was like, no, but I am interested in it because I did read The Passage and really enjoyed it from that author. I don't really know what to expect from this one. It feels like it's a slightly dystopian lean in a way, because we're on an island which lies in the middle of an ocean, and it's gorgeous, it's amazing, it's perfect, it's got sun, sea, stars, the world is perfect. But every paradise comes at a price, and truths are starting to be revealed, and there is this simple word that one person hears that starts changing everything, which is the world is not the world. And I'm really intrigued. I really don't know what to expect from this. I just think it's going to be, I don't know, it's just intriguing to me, and there's just something about it that I'm like, it just sounds really good. So I would like to get to this one in summer, but again, we'll see, because I would also like to buddy read it with Christina, so it just depends whether she's ready to read it during summer or not, but hopefully I can. It just seems really good, and I reading more sci-fi, especially after doing my sci-fi weekly reading vlog, which I really enjoyed. That was more cozy leaning sci-fi, so I would like to try more sci-fi and just see what I think of it, especially because one of my favourite sci-fi books is Gideon the Ninth. Adored that so much. So yeah, I really want to read this one and see what I think of it. And like I say, the cover just shouts summer, so it's why I added it to this list. But like I say, we'll see if I get to it during summer. Okay, then we have a couple of classics, because out of all the books that I own that I haven't read yet, my classics TBR is the largest. That is the biggest selection of books. I think it takes up a third of all the unread books that I have, or just over a third. I need to get to them. And the thing is, I love classics. I always end up picking them up, especially secondhand if I see them in the edition that I really like, because I do really enjoy classics. It's just I have to be in the mood to read them, because they tend to take more focus than other books. It's a lot easier to pick up books from other genres that aren't classics, because I know I'm going to be able to get through them a lot quicker. Classics tend to take me a little bit longer on the whole, but I also tend to really, really love them. So it's time to start tackling that classic TBR. I do keep putting 2 classics on every seasonal TBR. For spring, I haven't read them. Like, I just haven't. I haven't picked them up. I haven't even thought about them. So hopefully I will actually get to these, and I'm pretty sure these 2 were also on my summer TBR from last year, or at least definitely on spring/summer. So I need to read these. I need to start making progress with that classics TBR. I might try and put it in so that maybe from July, because I've already done my June TBR, obviously, I have at least 1 classic on my TBR every single month, because otherwise I am never going to get them read, and I have to. So with that out of the way, let's get into what the 2 classics are. We have A Room with a View by E.M. Forster. This is one that I was meant to read last year when we were going to Italy. I was going to take it away on holiday with me, and I never did. And I should have, because it's a short book, so I definitely could have read it. I just didn't. I just didn't end up taking it away with me. It would have been perfect to read this in Italy when it is based in Italy, or at least part of it's based in Italy. We're following a tale of Lady Honeychurch, who is transformed by the characters she meets on her first trip to Italy, and then when she comes back to England she finds it really stifling, and it's kind of that character exploration. I've never read an E.M. Forster book. I've heard good things about it, and again, I should have read it last year when I went to Italy. It just never happened, so I need to read it. I need to get these read. That's literally all I have to say about this. Please, if you like the 2 classic books I'm mentioning, please tell me in the comments so that I have more and more excitement to read these books, because there's no excuse. And the second one is North and South by Elizabeth Gaskell. This one was recommended to me because I like Jane Austen. I really enjoyed that. I did a whole video ranking Jane Austen books. I had a lot of fun with it. I was tempted to reread some Jane Austen this year in summer, and then I thought to myself, no, you've got so many classics on your TBR that are to be read. You can't keep rereading the ones that you really like, which, you know, is what I tend to do with classics. I end up really liking them, and so I want to reread those ones rather than reading new ones. You know, it defeats the point of having more classics on my TBR. So this one has been recommended because I like Jane Austen. Don't really know what it's about. It says it's a richly dramatic novel that features one of the most original and fully rounded female characters in Victorian fiction, Margaret Hale. It shows how, forced to move to the country to an industrial northern town, she develops a passionate sense of social justice and a turbulent relationship with mill owner John Thornton. It does sound, one, perfect for summer, and two, I need to read it. I need to read it. I need to stop putting off classics and actually read them because I know I'm going to enjoy them. Please, if you've read North and South or A Room with a View, please tell me in the comments below and tell me to read them because I need all the help I can get. Because apparently even putting them on my summer TBRs doesn't help me actually read them. But those are two that I really want to read. I mean, I want to read all of these. I'm just hoping that I can get to at least 7 or 8 of these read. That is what I would really like to hit from this TBR, but I guess we'll find out. I do have one manga, that is Yona of the Dawn Volume 1. I picked this one up because of Katie. She adored this book so much. She has been going through the series and she talked about it so much that I was like, okay, I'm going to give this a try. It's not normally the sort of manga that I like because I like things like The Promised Neverland, Tokyo Ghoul, it's slightly darker ones. This one is a historical romance manga, so I'm not sure how I'm going to get on with this, but it was spoken about so much, so well, that I was wanting to get a copy. So when it was finally available in Forbidden Planet on the 3 for 2, I did decide to pick it up, and I think summer will be a good time for a nice romance, and we'll see. Hopefully I like it. If I do, I can continue on with the series, although it is a massive series, so we'll see if I end up collecting them all physically or whether I end up reading them online somehow. But it does sound like it will be a cute time at the very least, so we'll see if I can get on with that, or if manga for me very much is that slightly more gothic horror leaning manga. We'll see, because you know, it would be nice to try something different and see how I get on with it. Okay, and the last two are continuing in series. As I said to you at the start of this video, continuing series is something I really want to do this year because I am in the middle of so many series. One of them is The Rule of the Aurora King by Nisha J. Tooley. This is actually on my June TBR for a book for you to choose between. So every time I do my TBR videos, I always have one prompt with 2 books and get you to vote which one I should be reading, and the prompt for that was continue a series. This one, even if I don't get to it in June, even if it doesn't get voted on, I would still really like to read during summer because this is a fantasy romance, and I would say it's very much for fans of Sarah J. Maas. The first book reminded me of a mixture of Throne of Glass and A Court of Thorns and Roses, and the setup for this makes me feel like it's going to almost feel a bit like A Court of Mist and Fury. I'm really intrigued by this. We're following Law, and Law is a slave. She and many of her people have been put into these mines, reminding me of Throne of Glass from Endeavour. It's cruel, it's horrible treatment, it is very dark, and she eventually manages to get free, and she's taken to the Sun King's palace, where she is then thrust into these trials, remind me of A Court of Thorns and Roses, to become the next Sun Queen. And the reason why she's interested in doing this is so that she can become powerful enough to then go against the Aurora King and save her family from these mines. Obviously, different things happen and everything. I'm really intrigued. I really enjoyed that first book. I thought it was really fun and fast paced. I really liked the world. I liked the different fae creatures. I liked it. It was a good fun book, and it felt a lot more adult of Throne of Glass and Court of Thorns and Roses together, and I also preferred the main character. There's one thing I will say for Sarah J. Maas books, like I love them, but I always find the actual main character is not my favourite character to follow, whereas Law I actually liked following. She felt very real, very gritty, very down to earth, so I liked it. So this is definitely one that I would like to continue on, and I feel like a good fantasy romance will be a light, fun read to have during summer. So even if I don't get to it in July, which hopefully it gets voted for, but I'm also very excited for the other book that was an option, so yeah. We'll see. And the last book on this TBR is The Vampire Lestat by Anne Rice. I adored Interview the Vampire so much. My favourite book of all time now. Like, it was a book that I was expecting to really like. I didn't expect to love it the amount I did, to the point where it is now one of my absolute all-time favourite books. It is to the point where people ask me, hey, what's your favourite book? And that tends to be the first one that comes to mind at the minute, because I just adored it so much. The writing was beautiful. I loved the exploration into morality, and I just thought it was perfect. This one is the continuation of it, and I really do want to continue because I do do have this habit of, if I really like a series, I then don't continue it, because I'm like, well, I know I'm going to like you, so I'm going to save you and hoard you like a little gremlin. And I'm like, but why are we doing this? Why not read it when you think you're going to enjoy it? Sometimes it's that fear of, what if it doesn't hold up? What if I don't enjoy it as much as I think I'm going to? And sometimes it's just because, well, if I already know I'm going to like it, I can read something else. I want to read it. I need to read it. I need to actually get this one read. I had hoped to read it during May, never actually got onto my May TBR, and May ends up being a very busy month, as we know, with the move and everything. But yeah, I would really like to read this one soon. I'm really excited for it. This one we're following Lestat, who in the first book was the vampire that changed our main character, Louis. Really excited to see his story, and I have heard that this book is just as good as the first book, so I'm very, very excited to read this one. So those are all 10 books that I want to read during summer. I think it's going to be a really good TBR. So I've got 2 things that I'm trying to read more of, which is classics and continuing series, and then I've got books that I just feel like will be good to read during summer, and hopefully doing it this way means I actually get them read more than just 4. I think as a base minimum I would like to get to 6. That is what I'd really like to do, and hopefully we achieve that. But there we are. You'll have to let me know if you've read any of these, if you want to read any of these, and also what ones should I prioritise out of these, because that will also help me keep those in mind for when I'm doing my TBR games and things, of trying to get them in with the prompts of the games. So I think that's everything. So genuinely thank you so much for watching. As I said, let me know if you've read any of these, if you want to read any of these, if you have a particular summer TBR and what is on it. But if you have made it this far, then leave a little sunflower emoji in the comments below. If you've made it this far, you just don't know what you would like to comment. And again, thank you so much for watching. I say it all the time, but genuinely it means so much to me that you take the time to watch these videos, to comment, interact. It makes my day. It is so lovely. I love the community that we're building on here. I love being able to talk to you about books and talk to you in the comments. Like, it's been so good. I'm so happy with it, so thank you. But if you have enjoyed this video, then please do consider giving it that thumbs up, subscribing and commenting. Those 3 things really help this channel out, so thank you. My social media links and anyone I've mentioned will be linked below for you, and I will of course catch you in the very next video.